If your aim looks inconsistent, shaky, and overall just very sloppy like what you're seeing here on the screen, then it could be your settings, and fear not, I'm here to help. I'm a champion Genji OTP on console, and these are going to be the exact settings that I use to take down these Zimmers and climb rank. Now, these aren't just random pro settings. I have spent many hours fine tuning these, so I'm going to explain why each of these settings matter so you can actually understand what's going on instead of just copying blindly. Okay, the first thing I'm going to cover is the way I grip the controller. I use just a standard claw grip. My left hand is regular, right hand is claw. Claw being, having your index finger on top of the controller here to control these buttons. I use this grip so I can double jump while still being able to control my camera, reload while still being able to control my camera, all that stuff. If you are not a claw player and you play regularly like this, then unfortunately you will have to find some binds to where you can still move your camera around while being able to jump, reload, crouch, whatever. Second thing I'm going to talk about is control freaks. That would be these little extenders on top of the joystick. On my left stick, I have a shorter control freak, and on my right stick, I have a taller one. Having taller joysticks allows for easier micro movements of the joystick, and these are a great product. I recommend this to absolutely everybody. Not sponsored by Control Freak. All right, hopping straight in here, we have horizontal vertical sensitivity at 100, and vibration is off. Now, if you are typically a lower sensitivity player and you're not playing at 100, my piece of advice is to gradually increase your sensitivity day by day, or whatever's comfortable for you, whatever rate is comfortable for you. It all depends on how much you play the game. But just gradually increase by 1% on both the horizontal and vertical sensitivity until you reach 100%. Okay, next, going in here, the most important setting, most likely, aim technique, linear ramp. If you are typically a dual zone player, switching to linear ramp will take you quite some time to get used to. My piece of advice is to just spam quick play, because you probably don't want to go into competitive. You will probably throw all your games. Just spam quick play and get used to making very micro adjustments on the joystick, because it will feel very fast at first. Now, the difference between dual zone and linear ramp is with dual zone, the first 90% of your joystick movement is a slower sensitivity. But once you reach the max dead zone, that will be your full sensitivity. That's why it's dual zone. It's two zones of sensitivity. As for linear ramp, it is your full max sensitivity no matter which or how much you push your joystick. Even if you just barely move it here, it is a 1-to-1 input at any dead zone on your joystick. All right, next setting here, we have aim smoothing at 0%. Basically, aim smoothing just adds a little bit of a delay to your joystick input on your right stick particularly. You don't want this on linear ramp. It does not pair well with linear ramp whatsoever. That little delay with the 1-to-1 ratio, it just feels, it's really hard to explain. Just have it on 0%. Okay, next setting here is aim ease in. This is going to be at 35%. Now, the reason for this is if you have aim ease in, just for example, at 100%, what this does is it slows down the very initial input of your joystick. It's a little similar to aim smoothing, but not quite. Now here, let me show you. At 100% aim ease in, if I just barely move my joystick, I get like almost no input at all. Basically none. And this could just make it feel very twitchy, because now whenever I pass this aim ease in zone, it's just going to jump. And then if you have it too low, look, it already just basically gives me insane stick drift, because there's basically zero slowdown for the very initial input on your joystick. And this could be very bad because destroying pylons, destroying symmetric turrets is going to feel basically impossible because, look, you can barely even see that I'm moving my joystick and it's still moving like quite a bit. So after many hours of testing, many days, many weeks of testing, I found 35% to be the smooth spot. You can still make very micro adjustments and it just feels right. It just feels like how little you move your joystick is how little your camera will move. It's the perfect spot. You can still break pylons from afar. You can still shoot from afar. You can still control deflects from afar if you're trying to deflect like a Widow headshot. All right, and then everything else here pretty straightforward. You don't want vibration on. That goes for basically every FPS game. That vibration can mess your aim up. That's the theory, at least. That's what all pro players say. So we're gonna go with them. All right, moving on here, we have the dead zone, probably the most confusing part to most players. Now, extra vertical and horizontal sensitivity at max dead zone 100. This setting will make your flicks so much cleaner, so much crispier. It will allow you to dash out, like do a quick 180 dash out instead of having to, turn the ship, steer the wheel, and then you're already dead by the time you're turning around. Now for all of this stuff here, left stick inner 0, left stick outer at 40. Left stick outer has to be low. It doesn't have to be, but ideally should be low, because what that helps you do is increase your strafing speed. Because with a lower outer dead zone, I am basically at max dead zone like once I push my left joystick to like maybe like right here. I didn't mean to turn my thing all the way down. So if you get the idea of that, if I can already be at max strafing speed here instead of all the way out here, that's like automatically just going to make my strafe faster. Now for right stick inner, I guess for both of the inner dead zones, you want to have them as low as possible without getting stick drift. If you're on a new controller or just a controller that has no stick drift, you want to ideally have this at 0.00 or 0.01. Most likely 0.01. If I have it at 0.00, as you can see, I start getting stick drift. That is the only downside to low dead zone, but obviously the thing to fix that is to just have a new controller. Take good care of your controller. You want this low as possible because you want your camera to start turning as soon as you make that input. You don't want to have like your joystick all the way out here and there's still no input at all. Now 0.92 on the outer. This is a little bit of an interesting setting because it could make your thing, it just makes your sensitivity feel faster. Now I like 0.92 instead of 100 because I get to reach this max dead zone right here faster. If that makes sense. If I have if I put this to 0, basically, I'm like already playing at the max extra sensitivity at max dead zone. Obviously you don't want to have it that low because as you can see, that's pretty crazy. But compared to 100, I'm going to reach this max dead zone just a little bit faster. Now 0.08 ramp up delay. What this setting is 8 millisecond delay before the extra sensitivity at max dead zone kicks in. It's a little counterintuitive to what I just said, but the reason being for this is if I'm going to go for a dash, one shot combo and I have to quickly like flick onto their head, that little delay gives me some time to actually make a good flick without that extra dead zone kicking in to where I'm going to be, accidentally overturning so hard to where I'm like facing 180 degrees. It just adds a little window to still, leave some room for your aim and one-shot combos, basically. Okay, moving on, controller aim assist. Aim assist strength, obviously at 100%. There are some freaks out there who play with lower aim assist strength. Those are probably just the best of the best. I can't do that. This is off, and aim assist window size 25%. I found 25% to be my sweet spot because whenever I'm going for like, multiple chain dashes, ghost dashes, whatever, I I'm not going to get my camera stuck on somebody that I'm not trying to look at because the window size is smaller. Like if it was 100% window size, you just have a much higher chance of getting your camera, your aim assist stuck on somebody that you don't want it to, and you're gonna end up dashing into a wall or something like that. Aim assist ease in, I found 10% to be perfect. Now basically what aim assist ease in is how quickly your aim assist is going to kick in. If I have this at 0%, my aim assist will kick in the second my crosshair goes into the aim assist window. It will instantly slow down. Now, why this is good to have on a low setting for Genji, in my opinion, is because whenever you go for those one-shot combos, you have a very, very short amount of time to place your crosshair on their head before they, obviously move and react to your dash. So if you can stick your crosshair onto them as quick as possible, it will obviously help you out with your one-shot combos and just hitting your shots right after dashing at somebody. So moving on here to the hero section of Genji, this is all default. I haven't touched any of this, but relative aim sensitivity during Dragon Blade is 175%. Now, given our extra sensitivity at max dead zone is 100%, whenever you're at max dead zone, it doubles this sensitivity here and it comes out to 350% Dragon Blade sensitivity. It sounds ridiculous, it sounds scary, but the only time it's really going to kick in like that, the only time I'm actually at max dead zone whenever I'm blading is whenever I'm going for 180s. But whenever I'm going for like 90s or like shorter dashes, I'm not actually at max dead zone, so it's at 175%. Whenever I'm at max dead zone is whenever I actually need to, flick very hard for a 180-degree dash. If you were looking for this specific crosshair right here that you see me using in some of my videos, here is that screenshot here on the screen. I like to switch between crosshairs. It's like a little placebo effect for me. For some reason, I feel like when I use a different crosshair, it makes my aim better for some reason. And obviously, same thing applies for without blade. Base sensitivity is going to be 100%, but whenever we reach max dead zone after the 8 milliseconds, it's going to go up to 200% sensitivity. And this is good for, obviously 180 dashes, but whenever I'm just going for shorter dashes, shorter dash angles, I'm at 100%. It feels controllable, it feels smooth, but my 180s get to be much faster. Now, my piece of advice for getting used to this very high sensitivity would be to go into DMGRE. You see the code there in the top right, very popular Genji workshop code, and you want to hold square whenever you load in to go into the ghost dash phase. Once you go into ghost dash phase, you want to take this route right here where you're going clockwise, killing all of these bots right here on the ground, and you want to just kind of get a feel for how much you need to turn the stick to achieve a certain flick, and just go as fast as you can. If you're first starting out doing this map and you can't go at some speed, and when you're first starting out, you can kind of dash and then try to just flick right onto the next target. Now, I don't think the best way to practice at first is like this. I don't want you like kind of slowly, like turning your camera. You want to try and flick it as fast as you can, but you don't have to dash right away instantly. Like let's say you over flick, you want to just take note of that. So for your next flick of that angle, you want to turn it a little less, and then once you get used to it, you can go a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and get used to your base sensitivity first before you practice your blade dash, because obviously that one's going to feel very fast depending on what sensitivity you start off in. But generally you do want your blade sensitivity to be a little faster than your base, because well, obviously you don't need to have that much aim with your blade. Now, if you want to practice your blade sensitivity in this map, all you need to do is press your interact button. That will give you your ultimate. Now, with my blade sensitivity of 175, as you can see, just a little tap here on my stick turns me almost 180 degrees. So you want to kind of get used to that. Now, the best way to get used to this is actually these two pillars right here. I practice slowly. First, you can start slowly. Just try to go left and right, keeping your crosshair in the center of the pillar. Start slow. Just try and keep your crosshair on the actual like pillar. And once you get used to that, you can kind of flick. So like go right to left, and end up like with your crosshair in the middle of the column. Now you go left to right, left to right. See, I'm kind of messing it up, but. And then for your 180s, same thing here. Flick, flick. Try to end up with your crosshair in the center of the column. So that was right to left. Now you can go left to right. As you can see, getting my crosshair to stick on the column. But those micro adjustments are important for whenever you're deflecting with your blade out. You want to be able to still aim your deflect and aim at the people that's shooting it, or sorry, deflecting it. And then of course you can take the same exact route that we were talking about when we were practicing base sensitivity. Just go same here, clockwise, trying to hit as many dashes as you can. And then for 180s, I like to do this Kiriko and Ash right here. Just go back and forth here on them as fast as you can. Alrighty then, I hope this video was useful. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments. You guys know I respond to every single comment, so just let me know if you have any questions, and I got you. And until next time.